Hello everybody and welcome back to more political chatter. In this video we will be talking about the 2024 United States House of Representatives elections. This is not something that my channel or a lot of other election channels talk about very much because going through all the House elections is a big process, and very rarely would you go district by district analyzing it and giving your prediction for each district. But in this video, I will be doing a brief rundown of every competitive district and giving my prediction for how they are going to go. First of all, this is the 2022 map. I don't really know why I have this up, but we will definitely have to look back to compare. But these House elections in 2024 will be held with the presidential election. That will definitely help Democrats in some areas. It will definitely turn out the vote in a lot of areas, in a lot of states and regions, which will benefit Democrats, House Democrats, in a lot of these districts. So, let's get started. Let's start in Washington, I guess. Just, again, a brief rundown. We're not going to be analyzing every district, but just going through a rundown of each district or whatever. Most notably, this is where this map comes in because we can see the margins from 2022. But the big one here in Washington is Washington's 3rd district, where Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez magically flipped this district from red to blue in 2022. She won by 0.8%. Many were thinking immediately that it was just luck, she would lose in 2024. But Joe Kent, who lost to her in 2022, is running against her again. It's looking like he's going to win the nomination. No one else is stepping up. With increased voter turnout in Washington, with the presidential being held on the same ballot, MGP hangs on. Kim Schreier in the 8th district, not too competitive. She definitely hangs on as well. In the state of Oregon, I believe that we will have a Democratic flip. This comes from the 5th district of Oregon, where in 2022 the incumbent Kurt Schrader was ousted in the primary, replaced with a more progressive nominee. That Democrat lost to Lori Chavez DeRemer, and I think that the Democrats got really unlucky in 2022. To be honest, voter turnout among Democrats was very low in Oregon. They didn't have anyone exciting to come turn them out. And I think that this is a prime pickup opportunity for them in 2024, and especially with voters to turn out in the presidential election. More voters will turn out in that congressional election in the 5th district. Then we have the 6th district. Andrea Salinas won by 2.5 in 2022. I don't see her having that much of a hard time in 2024 winning. I think Salinas hangs on. Then we come to California, where I think, and by the way, I should have mentioned this, if there's a lighter shade of a color, then that means it is a flip. And I really don't think that there will be any Republican opportunities to flip in 2024. Looking at this map, I really don't see, barely any, if any, district opportunities for them to flip. Anyway, going to the state of California, I think that the 13th district, which John Duarte flipped in 2022. He won by just 0.4%. He was supposed to win by a lot more. I think that it flips back to the Democrats. California and New York. So important when it comes to House elections in 2024, because in 2022, Republicans were able to flip districts, especially in New York, because in New York, we'll get to New York, but their gubernatorial election was held on the same ballot, and Republicans did very well in that election, and therefore people were encouraged to vote for Republicans in their House elections because, it's on the same ballot as the gubernatorial. And in California, you really need that presidential election to be held on the same ballot to do really well. Without it, they really struggled in the House elections in California. That was a huge disadvantage for House Democrats nationwide. So with that, I think that Duarte loses in 2024. I mean, he just lost by 0.4%. With that extra voter turnout, I think that it flips to the Democrats. And then we have David Valadao. I think that this district also flips. Yes, he won by 3, but again, that presidential turnout is everything. And I mean, honestly, I'm going to change it back because I didn't know he won by 3. But that might happen throughout this video too as I look more in margins. I just made this map pretty quickly, actually. I mean, what's his name? Mike Garcia in the 27th district has just proven himself time and time again. I think that Mike Garcia, Republican, hangs on in the 27th. Whoever replaces Katie Porter is becoming more Democratic. Her district, they hang on. Mike Levin hangs on, of course. Again, especially with that presidential ballot. And then we have, this was a new district in 2022, Kevin Kiley won here by a wide margin. He will have no hard time hanging on in 2024. Josh Harder, of course, won by a wide margin. Moving on to Nevada, we have 3 pretty competitive districts, all Democratic, but their margins were good in 2022. I say they hang on. Idaho, of course, nothing crazy. And then we come to Montana, where I think that we will have a very historic and, I mean, pretty shocking, really, when it comes on the CNN projection screen. But I think that Ryan Zink loses in 2024. I mean, look at this. He only won by 3%. I mean, that is not a lot. If the independent candidate, John Lamb, if all of his votes went to the Democrat, she would have won. That is pretty crazy to me. But what really will put Democrats over the edge, of course, is that presidential ballot. But Jon Tester for the Senate election is on the ballot. That will turn out so many voters because it is such a competitive election. And it will turn out more liberal-minded voters who are mostly independent who want to vote in that Senate election for Jon Tester. And then, while they're voting for Jon Tester, they'll vote for the Democrat in the Montana's 1st district election. So I think that is a flip for Democrats. A lot of people probably disagree with me. Wyoming at large, Republican. North and South Dakota, Republican. Going to Utah, all 4 districts, Republican. And then we come to Arizona. To get it out of the way, I think that Juan Kiscomani hangs on. I think that he is a strong candidate. Overall, looking at his electability factor, he won by 0.2%, 1.5%. If there was another candidate, the Democrats probably would have won that seat. He is a pretty strong candidate. David Schweiker, I think, loses in 2024. That's a flip for Democrats. He's just not a good candidate electorally. I mean, he really should have won by 0.8%. And especially with that presidential ballot. I mean, so many more young voters are going to turn out in 2024 with the presidential ballot because Arizona is such a swing state where I think that district flips. Was it the 1st district? I think so. Alaska, Mary Peltola is going to win by possibly a safe margin, really, with or without RCV. Hawaii. New Mexico, Democrats flipped this seat in 2022. Harrell is running against Vasquez again. Vasquez only won by 0.7 in 2022, but him now being the incumbent, it'll be much more easier to win in 2024. I gotta speed this up. This is taking way too long. And yeah, I think that Adam Frisch does defeat Lauren Boebert in 2024 this time. I mean, it should have been the last straw in 2022 for what she's done, but she has even become so much more extreme and outspoken and unpopular after her election, which is so weird, saying that she only won by 500 votes. You want to be more electable. So that's a flip for Democrats. I really think so in the 3rd district. Going to Nebraska, I think that Don Bacon loses. I mean, this is what a lot of people are saying. The presidential ballot will help the Democrats so much because, I mean, Biden won this by 6.6 in 2020. He will probably do it by similar margins in 2024, if not by a wider margin, if it's Biden versus Trump. So Tony Vargas probably flips that one. Sharice Davids in Kansas hangs on. Looking at Texas, I mean, there's never much to say about Texas, but Henry Cuellar definitely hangs on. He won by a very wide margin. I mean, I guess Monica De La Cruz hangs on, but just because of her 9-point margin in 2022, that was very impressive. And then Vicente Gonzalez is running against Mayra Flores again. So, I mean, you don't want to lose her again. That's just common sense. But whatever. Louisiana stays the same. Arkansas stays the same. Missouri stays the same. No flips. Oh, Iowa, I forgot to add it. Iowa, honestly, I'm not thinking that this is a flip for Democrats in 2024 because, unlike most states, Iowa is actually trending right still, It's not like this is Texas or Alaska where there are so many new Democratic voters. But yeah, I think that Zach Nunn is a good candidate. I think that he is serving his people in his district just fine. I don't think that they have any problem with Zach Nunn. He has not made anyone mad. He's pretty popular. So I don't really see any reason for him to lose in 2024, even if they run Axne again. Minnesota, nothing changes. Angie Craig will hang on for quite a while. Wisconsin, no changes from 2022. The 3rd district was closer than it should have been, but I still think that it stays Republican now that they have an incumbent. And then we go to Michigan, where I think that the 10th district, which flipped Republican in 2022 by just 0.5%, which is like nothing, for John James, I think it flips back Democratic. With that presidential election on the same ballot, that'll definitely benefit Democrats here. Probably just enough to put the Democrats over ahead here. I mean, that is a razor-thin margin for John James. So that's a flip. Slotkin is retiring, but she won by 5. She could win again. Kildee, don't ask me. That was probably the most shocking congressional election. I mean, probably not, because the 3rd district of Washington and the 8th district of Colorado. But that 11-point win, I was not expecting. I thought that Republicans, could pull off a win here. I don't know. I just was not expecting that. But all Democrats hang on in Michigan. Indiana, nothing. And then Illinois, we had a couple close districts. This was a new district in 2022, the 13th. Budzinski won it by 13. She will have no problem in 2024. Eric Sorensen, the 17th, won it by 4. He will win again. Kentucky, no changes. Tennessee, no changes. Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, nothing. South Carolina, nothing. Florida, I think, isn't going to go anywhere crazy. I mean, yes, it is trending right, but when it comes to House elections, I don't think we will see anything crazy for a while. I don't think that we'll see any flips. But, I guess the 14th, it's really not in consideration for flipping, though. But yeah, there weren't really any close elections in 2022 in Florida. North Carolina, I think that Don Davis, a lot of people are saying that he could lose. I don't see it. I think that he is a pretty strong candidate. He is pretty moderate. He could use that record. And then we have Wiley Nickel. That was a flip, but I don't know. I think that they're staying Democratic right now. Ohio, Marcy Kaptur hangs on. Let's see. Amelia Sykes' opponent, Madison Jesiado Gilbert, is running again. If they nominate her, game over again. Greg Landsman won by 5. With this new district, that probably stays. West Virginia stays. Maryland stays. Alright, Pennsylvania can get a little interesting with the Fitzpatrick district. That's the first district of Pennsylvania because even though he is a strong candidate himself, he won by 9 or 10 in 2022. Well, there's a lot of talk about him getting primaried by a more conservative district, and Biden won this district. Without Fitzpatrick, the longtime incumbent, known for being moderate, but without Fitzpatrick, they have absolutely no chance. So right now, I am assuming he gets primaried. That is really what it's looking like right now, and that is what I would have to do. And yeah. So I would have to give the first district as a flip for Democrats. Matt Cartwright, and Susan Wild probably hang on. New Jersey, no changes. New York is so interesting because, New York was known for giving Republicans the House majority in 2022 because the gubernatorial election caused so many more voters to vote Republican in the House elections, and they actually had 4 flips, the Republicans. They had the 4th district, the 3rd, the 17th, and the 19th, all flips for them. Well, I think that the 4th, and it is the 3rd and 4th. Well, I think that George Santos does not hang on. Obviously, yes, he will get primaried, but still, just that Republic, that vibe, that lingering vibe from George Santos. They're not voting for another Republican. I can guarantee you that. And then we have the 4th district, Anthony D'Esposito won by 3 in 2022. Without that gubernatorial ballot was that election was so critical. That one will definitely have to be a flip for Democrats. Mike Lawler, I don't think hangs on. He won by a razor-thin margin. He won by 0.6. Again, without the gubernatorial ballot, with that presidential election on the same ballot. That's a flip. And then I think, who is it? Oh, wait, no. I think that Molinaro hangs on. I think that it's Brandon Williams, who only won by a point in 2022 just because of how narrow that margin was. I think that one's a flip for Democrats also. All of New England Democratic, the 5th district of Connecticut, Jahana Hayes continues to do well during presidential elections. Not so much in the midterms, so that one will be Democratic territory. Democrats did so well in the House elections in New Hampshire in 2022, where I have no doubt that they will lose. And then Jared Gordon also did well in the 2nd district of Maine. So he hangs on. So this is my current House prediction. I have 224 seats going to the Democrats, while 211 go to the Republicans. That means that Democrats have House majority. That is a margin of 13 seats for the Democrats. Pretty comfortable, more comfortable right now. Is it more comfortable than the Republicans right now? I think so. Yes. By 2 seats. It is more comfortable for Democrats. But honestly, I looking at these districts, I don't see where Republicans could flip Democratic districts. Looking at it, I just don't see it anywhere. I mean, if we're looking at it, where are they going to flip a Democratic district? Don Davis, it might be it in Don Davis in North Carolina's 1st district, if there were to be one. Matt Cartwright, I still think Matt Cartwright hangs on, though. He has proven to be electorally strong. And, I mean, I don't know. It's going to be very tough for Republicans in 2024, just because of those 2022 elections. Republicans really flipped all the districts they could. Democrats are the ones that could flip a bunch of districts in 2024. Republicans are not in a position to do so. Because Democrats, the districts that Democrats won, there's not a whole ton where it was super super close. Like even the districts they flipped. Let's take Michigan's 3rd, for example. That's a 12-point win. Greg Landsman won by 5. That's a good win. So it's going to be very tough. But anyway, thank you all for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.